Philip the Real Flash Wright the third commits to Michigan. What a great get. I understand, people are going to come at us for star ranking, but here's the thing, folks. When you're going on visits to Georgia, Baylor, those are two. We just learned that Baylor just got Taz Williams. Probably threw a bag their way. So this is a big deal, TJ.
Yeah, no, and I'd also, throw LSU on there. LSU's been coming at him hard recently. So, I mean, yeah, this is a big get in. His loyalty to Michigan really showed. LSU was coming on very strongly. I know E.J. Holland put out a warning recently, or maybe it was Sam Webb. I can't remember. But one of them put out a warning that LSU, be on the lookout for LSU. Well, LSU came a lot harder, a lot quicker. So, as you can see in the tape here, we have a player that will play the wide position. He can stretch the defense. He can definitely take it, take it to the top, and, make the defense play honest. When you have a power run game like we run, when you have a speedster like this, the defense has to respect that. So, as we've all talked about, and it's been talked about a lot, I've been paying attention to a lot of different communities now bringing this up. Kirk Campbell's vision is to expand the playbook. Well, this is the type of player that can do that, not because it makes you more versatile. It gives you the opportunity to have a power run game with an aggressive air attack. So, this kid's a stud, man. I mean, the speed shows on tape. There's no question about that. He's just a dynamic player. I mean, he's a legitimate threat on the field. He's an X factor, and it's great to have him in the class. You pair him up with Jacob Washington, who we have, and then also we are projecting here Andrew Marsh potentially in the class, and then we were also going to talk about some other receivers in the recruiting segment. Yeah, man, this is big time. It's good. I mean, it's a good get. I know the rankings don't necessarily show it, but again, we're film watchers here, bro. Like, the rankings are one thing, and you do want to have the higher level players, but at the end of the day, watch the tape. Tell me you don't want Philip Wright on your team. Of course you do.
Well, Georgia wanted them. They know a thing or two about elite talent. LSU, and you mentioned the tidbit that LSU was pushing really hard, and
they will. They're going to be a problem.
They will continue. They will continue to do it. Yeah.
Right. Correct.
I like him in the Y. I agree with that. You have your dynamic X. You've got your slot. You need your slot guy who might also in the Michigan offense run some of the the end around type stuff, the reverses. That player tends to do that. So you've seen some of that in this film. That he's very versatile. Right, he can execute not just the passing concepts, but can be utilized in a run or a very short yardage or like a lateral type thing. So I think you need somebody like that who can play a lot of different roles on the team.
Yeah, he's a faster Samaj Morgan. Is what he is. He's a Xavier Worthy type player, but we'll see if he can reach that ceiling. So he has the potential. We're going to find out, though. He's just got to put the work in, and then he's going to be, he puts the work in, he's going to be a problem on Saturdays for Michigan.
I'm with you there. And let's see here. We've got Myles is 6'3", 215. Let's see. Wright. Okay, Wright 432, 40 looks like. I think this is the best. Wright is going to be a problem for which way, Moose? Are you talking problem for for other teams? Because I would agree with you there for sure. So he was a good get. And I'm gonna back off Ron Bellamy a little bit because I gotta say he's been pulling his weight, and if what we understand continues to happen, he will continue to pull his weight. Knock on wood, in the coming weeks. So I just found some. There we go.
Yeah. Well, listen. I think we all need to be a little more honest about the reality of Michigan recruiting prior to the NIL evolvement, its evolution at Michigan, because now that we are now a player in this space, and we're going to talk more about this in this, as this segment continues, Bellamy can play ball. And when you can play ball with these type of exotic cars, these Ferraris, right? That's what I call them. Mm-hmm. I call wide receivers and running backs Ferraris. Like, these are your luxury, high-end, exotic vehicles. These are expensive, assets. So the reality is, now that we can play ball, we are now in the game, and we are going to talk about right here, this topic right here, we're going to talk about.
I mean, you brought it perfectly, so
yeah.
might as well.
Yeah. So we're going to hit on this right here. So, it's funny, John, because I put out a tweet on Friday, I think it was, where I was like, the smoke. Now, the reason why I put that exact GIF out is because I received a text. So I sent a text to my guy and I said, hey, is there any truth to this Derek Meadows rumor that's going around? And only thing he sent to me was the exact GIF I put on social media, which is there's smoke. So what has occurred was, and I reached out to him, I talked to him further about it. What has occurred is Michigan made a power play with Derek Meadows. Okay, so they got into the recruitment. Jerome Moore and Ron Bellamy and Kirk Campbell, they got into this recruitment. They offered and we talked about this. If anyone's watched our show, I know we have a bunch of new viewers. I told you guys about 3 weeks ago, Michigan is getting extremely aggressive with its top targets. I was not bullshitting, and this is evident. Every single thing that we're bringing to the table, you guys are seeing unfold right in front of you. There's nothing we have not been on top of. I've taken one hard L, which was Marco Jones, but outside of that, I've been hitting for average. So what we have here is Michigan is not only with Babalola, which we will talk about in the next topic, but with these top end wide receivers, these elite 5-star type receivers, they are now getting in. And I've always said that. Now here's something I have said that I'm gonna have to step back from. I said Michigan will not be high as bidder. Well, guess what? On Friday they threw a number out there that was pretty damn aggressive, and it made Derek Meadows have second guesses. Okay. So here's how it's going down now. Derek Meadows is going to make an announcement on Saturday. Now, I do know there are people who believe he's going to be going to Notre Dame. They think now, I'm just going to say this. My guy, and I don't know. But my guy thinks it's LSU. Okay, so that's where I know there's other people in the industry who think it's going to be Notre Dame, so I don't know. Michigan made a move. They gave him something to think about. I will say this, though. Michigan's not out of it. It's not that they're out of it. It's just as it stands today. And I got word yesterday that LSU seems to be the leader. So I don't know what the word is today. I don't know today's what it is, because this shit changes, quickly. But as it stands, I have my call right now. If I had to call it, I'd say LSU is going to get Derek Meadows. But the good news is this, and this is why well, actually, no, it has to do with Andrew Babalola. So I put out another tweet, which we'll get into, that got a lot of balls. It was hilarious. I mean, it was just so funny to watch that unfold, because we'll get into it. But regardless, Michigan made a move. This is serious. And the fact that Michigan's now a player in this type of aggressive space, because as you guys know, we're at 16 commits. There's only about 9 spots left in the class. So right now, the top players are being taken off the board. We're in a situation where it's musical chairs. Teams are getting more aggressive. Offers are getting higher. And it's just good to see, for the first time in the NIL era, Michigan is a player. So, for me, that tells me, that shows me a lot as someone who's paid attention to recruiting for Michigan for a long time, to see them actually be a competitive player in the top talents like this. We're talking 5-star talents. That's serious, man. That shows great evolution by Michigan. So hats off to Michigan. However this goes, who gives a shit? The good news is this: Michigan's going to be in these types of battles now, and that's what everybody wants. Everyone, because we're talking about recruiting. Michigan right now is ranked 10th ranked 10th by 247. Everybody really wants a top 5 class. Well, the fact that they're trying to get in these types of recruiting battles shows that they have a willingness to also become a top 5 class. So it's just good to see, man. And then, John, I'll let you talk on it, and then I'll hit on Jerome Myles next.
Yeah. First of all, hey, Doreen. Doreen mentioning both of us, TJ. So yes.
Oh no, we're BFFs now. Yeah, we're BFFs
we appreciate
now.
Membership. I think we're up to now 4 Buckeyes that are members. So that's very exciting. Just shows that our show even crosses rivalries because of the content that you guys are putting out. And so I guess from based on kind of what I was hearing from some folks in a couple of group chats here, some others that are, it does seem like LSU is going to get it. Just based on look, they're going to have Bryce Underwood. Their offense is the issue that
right.
And Olesh, by the way, Olesh's dad had the same issue. Is that the pass ratio is lower than at a place like LSU, and even Notre Dame has Deuce Knight. So So I think that from an NIL perspective, love that we're getting in these, and I think it's a harbinger for next year, because right now
Right.
I don't think we're getting this recruit. But what's interesting is
Right.
that because we're willing to play ball, and we're willing to play ball and actually start outbidding people if we think that the talent's good enough,
Well,
then
right.
if Jerome Moore and Kurt Campbell adjust, and if Antoine's listening, I'm not saying turn into Ohio State. I'm not saying turn into USC, pass air raid happy. But what I am saying is if you get to 47% pass, which is what Georgia's at, I think you're going to start seeing some of these players actually move to pull the trigger on Michigan. And I think that's the only thing that's been holding some of these guys back now, because it's not NIL anymore.
Right. Well, I mean, look, I still think LSU may, look, at the end of the day, I do believe LSU has a bigger bag than Michigan. But what I do know is the fact that listen, on Friday, he was going to LSU, guys. That's where Derek Meadows, he was not going to Notre Dame on Friday. He was going to LSU on Friday. Michigan made a move, which is why if you saw what I posted on social media, I said Michigan's making moves with more than one commit. There's another commit we're going to talk about after Myles that they're making a heavy move with. I'm not bullshitting on the things I'm throwing out there. Like, there's a reason why I'm throwing out what I'm throwing out there. I'll get into some of the tweets because one of my tweets got completely misinterpreted, but we'll get into that. But let's hit on Jerome Myles. So Jerome Myles is the other Ferrari prospect that we're after, and this kid's big time. Okay, now we all call Philip Wright the real Flash, but the reality is this kid's faster than Philip Wright. Philip Wright runs a 10.4 600 meter. This kid runs a 10.3 600 meter, and he's a true X. Okay, this is a true X wide receiver. Your big body type. He was formerly committed to Ole Miss. He decommitted from Ole Miss. And right now we're looking at like a Utah Michigan battle. The good news is this though. He's going to be coming to Michigan for Barbecue at the Big House. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, Barbecue at the Big House is a major event that always gets commits. I'm not locking anything in here or anything like that. But what I'm saying is if there's an event for him to come to, this is the one, outside of like an Ohio State game or Victor's Weekend. It's really the three biggest recruiting things for Michigan are Victor's Weekend, Barbecue at the Big House, and the Ohio State game. Those are like the three biggest events for all recruits. Although the Texas game is going to be big this year too, which we'll talk about also later in the segment. But the point being is this Barbecue at the Big House weekend is going to have so many elite talents. All of our quarterbacks from Carter Smith to Brady Hart, and then even QB1 for 2027, not committed yet, Trey Taylor. Michigan is in a great position to make a move for Jerome Myles. And here's what I do know. Again, NIL, Michigan's being aggressive. So that's where we are with that. Michigan is being aggressive with all their top targets right now. We know this. We've been on top of this for weeks, and this is no exception. So Michigan's making a play because here's the reality. So here's the breakdown of the wide receiver class. We have Jacob Washington. We have Philip Wright. We are projecting Andrew Marsh to be in the class. That's a projection. He is obviously not committed yet, but we like the way that looks.
Mm-hmm.
And then we obviously have the potential to get Jerome Myles. Now, here's the thing. Jerome Myles plays the same position as Jacob Washington. So we'll see what that means. We'll see if Jacob Washington hasn't, obviously we'll see if that's good money, if it's okay. But at the end of the day, Michigan was looking to have 3 wide receivers in the class. For a player who's elite like Jerome Myles or Derek Meadows, they are willing to go to 4. Okay. So look, Michigan's doing what they need to do to make sure they have the best talent possible in the class. And it's great. It's great to freaking see because guys, they just evolved, as you know, in April. Well, a little bit before April, but essentially April is when it started getting the ball rolling. We got Nate Marshall. So great to see, man. Michigan's really taking strides in recruiting. And so not only are we elite on the field, we're becoming elite in recruiting. We're getting there. Like I told you guys, we've had a lot of talks. I told you guys every month Michigan's getting better and better. Just stay patient and let them do it because they know. They are aware of where they are. They want to get better, and they're doing it. You're seeing it now. Now it's about landing some of these big fish, and we'll talk about that with the next recruit that's coming up next.
Yes, and I have a great transition for that. So we got a couple of very talented people in the chat. Justin Adams, who hosts Nebraska Cornhuskers Live right before this show. He's in here. If you look at all the graphics that all over from our new Twix account to all the shows, that's because of this guy and he's been killing it. So so watch his Nebraska show and just keep tuned with what he's doing. The other talented person, we've got Ivan Drago in here from Rocky 4, and he's saying what's up. And the reason I bring that up is because you can't have Ivan Drago without Balboa.
There you go.
So I know it's Babalola, but so Michigan is trying to get Babalola to move up his decision dates. TJ, talk to us about that.
Yeah, they are, and we've had that. We have told you guys that for the last few weeks. That Michigan, listen, Andrew Babalola was initially looking to commit end of August. Michigan has been, and we told you guys about 2 weeks ago about the virtual that they had and how aggressive that Michigan was pursuing Andrew Babalola, as well as path to playing time, in terms of development, all of that. Miles Hinton's on top, making sure, he's contacting them because he was a transfer from Stanford. They are aggressive. Actually, Andrew Babalola was the one where we broke the news that Michigan was going, and Shamar Earls. He went to Georgia, though, unfortunately. But we told you guys they are turning the heat up. They are all in. If you guys remember, we had the whole thing about being all in. Well, Andrew Babalola is one of those they are all in on, and Michigan is trying to get him to move up his commitment. There is some buzz that he is going, and this is so. I put out a tweet on what was it yesterday maybe, of my guy sipping the tea, bro. And the reason why I threw that out there is because there is some smoke that he's going to make a public announcement of a moved up commitment. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I also put in the comments, someone asked me, are you going to put a lock in? I said, I'm close. And what is going to make me put a lock in is if he does move it up, because the only reason why he's moving up his commitment is because of Michigan's pursuing of that. So if he makes a public announcement of him moving up that commitment, I will make a lock that Andrew Babalola is going to come to Michigan. We'll see. I'm not going to do it until he does make a public announcement, but it's good to see that Michigan was pursuing this, and we are getting word, or some it seems to be trending that it's going to happen. So if that does happen, that's big time. That's a big deal for Michigan. And then also there was another tweet where somebody was posted on my and the reason why I'm doing this because we got a lot of buzz. I realized I made the message boards on a few of these sites. That was pretty interesting, and just to observe it all, and also these people who are not familiar with our channel or familiar with how we do things. And listen, I put out there that one of my guys on the social media was like, well, I know TJ is not going to say nothing about it, so I'm just going to sit here and chill. And so all I did was say Tuesday, because we have a Tuesday show, so I'm going to talk about it on Tuesday. I wasn't saying nothing was going to happen on Tuesday. I was saying we got a Tuesday show. I'll get into it then, because that's the whole point of the freaking channel, right? So anyways, long story short, that's the deal. All the new viewers, if you guys want to know if I put something on Twitter, or I put something on social media, I'm typically just going with the trends and the vibes and the feel of certain recruitments. And then I will go into greater detail on our show, because this is how we do our business. This is what we do. So yeah, but anyways, long story short, man, Babalola, it's trending well. Michigan's been aggressive. I do feel optimistic. I know a lot of people feel like it's neck and neck. Listen, there's some people on Rivals, national people, who believe Michigan's got the lead. I think we have the lead. I think we have the lead right now. So if we can get him to move up that commitment date, then I feel really good about it. Really, really good about it. But we'll see. Until he goes public with it, I'm just going to be in observation mode. But it's, again, good to see the progress being made.
So I agree with you. And, it's rare to get a 5-star talent who's not concerned with the bag.
Right.
He's concerned, and his family is extremely concerned with, or has as the top priority, academics, right? So this is the rare 5-star Michigan recruit that, despite, I know, the NIL being in flux for this offseason, this is a recruit that Michigan could get right now. Right? Because Michigan, who had 2 out of the last 3 Joe Moore Awards? Michigan. Whose O-line won the Natty last year? Michigan. Who went 15-0, one of only 4 teams to do it in the modern era? Michigan. And which team went 3-9 the last 3 years?
Stanford.
So look, I give them the edge in academics. Absolutely. Anybody who doesn't, you would have to be completely like just not knowledgeable on like where things stand. But like, it's not like Michigan's a slouch academically either.
Right. The number one public university in the world.
Number one public university in the world, and so eventually you have to look at Michigan putting in all these NFL talents versus Stanford. Playoff appearances. How many playoff appearances does Stanford have? So I'm just saying, if performance is at all a thing, it does seem like they're playing that up in the discussions. Babalola's been talking with Myles Hinton about, okay, like what was it like to transfer, to transition from Stanford to Michigan? What was that experience like? So I love the fact that those conversations are happening because it means he's thinking about it. And he's thinking about it to the point where some are even saying now that, and you're saying Michigan's ahead. I think I'd put it 55-45 Michigan right now. And if he pushes up the decision date, then it becomes that TJ lock.
You mean 51-49, but yeah, I hear you. Yeah, if he moves that announcement up, that's big time because he wasn't going to. Michigan's pushing that. That's a Michigan strategy right now. So we'll see what happens. I mean, we're gonna listen. I'm in observation mode on that. We'll see if they can do it. I mean, I'll tell you right now, if they can land Babalola, I'll tell you, if they can get Jerome Myles and Babalola, holy shit, what a big get for Michigan. We'll find out. I mean, they are in it. They are in the battle right now. It's good to see. We have another commit next, John, that we're going to hit on. Big DJ Sanders, if we could pull that up.
Absolutely. Before we do, though, I do want to just mention we have a tradition here at Voice of College Football that when somebody is a first-time viewer, we say, welcome to the Voice of College Football. It's a Mark Rogers tradition. Drago is a first-time viewer. Welcome. If anybody else is a first-time viewer, we'll do it for you, too, if you'd like. But thank you for giving us a shot. Feel free to hit the like button if you decide you like the content. I hope you do because we do our best here to give you the insight and analysis that you can't find elsewhere. So with all that said, DJ Sanders, we got an update.
Yeah, DJ Sanders, big defensive tackle. This is one of their main targets right now for defensive line. So with DJ Sanders, they tried to get him up for barbecue at the Big House. He's not coming up for barbecue at the Big House. So if he's going, so right now we're battling the Texas schools right now between A&M and Texas University, obviously. That's our battle. He's from Texas, so that's why it's a hard pull. He is going to visit for the Texas game, though, because it's at home. So if there's a game to bring him to, that's the one, and he plans on coming for that. So we're going to find out. And hopefully – so here's where I'm at with the DJ Sanders recruitment. Essentially, if he waits to commit anywhere, if he makes it for the visit, then that's all we can ask for. If we can get him back on campus with his family, and if we can beat Texas, which listen, if anyone, I know there's a lot of new viewers here. Last week we did a Texas versus Michigan preview with one of our affiliates in the network with Matt Miller, who's he heads the Texas, the Voice of Texas, the Voice of College Football channel for our network, and we did a breakdown with him, and I mean, when it comes down to it, I feel good about that game. I think Michigan's can win that game. I like us being at home, so I think it'd be a great opportunity for Michigan to showcase Michigan football to DJ Sanders, who's a Texas boy. So it's a great opportunity for Michigan. We'll see where it goes, but that's the update on that recruitment as it stands today.